All right, so now that you've drawn out the panoramic arch and you have traced out the nerve, it's probably important to measure out the sectional slice to determine the the dimensions of the alveolar ridge so that you can place your implants. Now, if you look at my mouse, you'll notice that typically when I trace out the nerve, I tend to trace it in the superior border of the inferior alveolar canal. The reason I do that is because I'm trying to factor in a level of safety. I don't want to trace out the mandibular nerve at the inferior border of the canal where I could possibly make a mistake in measuring. I usually, again, so when you try to trace out the inferior alveolar nerve or map out the nerve, you want to trace it out in the superior aspect of the canal, and that will factor in a level of safety. So what you do when you want to figure out the dimensions of the actual alveolar ridge is, let's assume we're treating we're placing tooth number 3-6. So you want to take the line and center it along tooth number 3-6, right there. Okay, and then you'll notice that there is your inferior alveolar nerve. Again, it's on the superior aspect. That's it. That's fine. And then now you go to the very top left and you'll see a ruler icon. You click on that and you want to click 2D. What we're doing is measuring in 2 dimensions. And then you go back to your sectional slice and you find where your nerve is. And then don't start measuring from your nerve, but rather take a millimeter or 2 superior to the nerve and then start your measurement. The reason why I say that is because you want to give yourself a little bit of play. You want to give yourself some room. Once you've stretched it out to the superior part, you press again and you let go. And that gives you your dimension. So this is 14.8 millimeters from the very superior crest of the buccal bone to the inferior border or superior border of the inferior alveolar canal. So now that you have a 14.8 millimeter, that tells you that dimension. You can click on this and move this around so it's not in your way. But now you want to measure your horizontal dimension. Now you go over to your length, click on that. Again, it's 2D. Move down to where you want to measure it, and you can measure usually from the internal aspect of the cortical bone to the other internal aspect of the cortical bone. So in this case, I'm going to let go right about here. And that tells me that we have an 11 millimeter of horizontal dimension. Okay? So this is how you measure it. Now, here's a cool thing. You can move the labels around, but you can also change things on the fly. Let's say you go, you know what, this is still too close to the nerve. I want to move this a little higher. Well, that's easy. You just have to move your mouse over the arrow until it turns into a hand, press down on it, and then you can move it higher up. Let's see. Oh, no, I'm moving the whole thing. Let's try that again. There you go. I move it higher up. And now when I'm done, I click somewhere else. And that's 13.8 millimeters.